there is no such thing as bad weather, only unsuitable clothing. Bad weather is something my husband and I learned to embrace. On our travels, we like to go hiking. When we were younger, we used to fret whenever the weather turned bad. Later, we learned a saying that is popular among Scandinavians, that there is no such thing as bad weather, only unsuitable clothing. Besides defending existing jobs, we must try and open up many more pathways to jobs. There is a Chinese idiom, 未雨绸缪. It reminds us to plan ahead before the storm hits. This will be critical in the months ahead. This year, we expect the economy to shrink by between 4 to 7%. We must gear up for further job losses, although we won't know exactly how severe it will be. Uncertainty about the future will also moderate hiring. As a millennial might put it, it's an epic challenge to create pathways for 100,000 people under such circumstances. To give members a sense of scale, Workforce Singapore and its partners like E2I and MAS placed an average of 29,000 locals into jobs every year in the last 3 years. 29,000, as opposed to the 100,000 that we are aiming for between now and the end of the year. Each of these 29,000 on average already involves painstaking work. In many cases, there are job and skills mismatches. In others, there are mismatches of wage expectations. I said at the start that we should gear up for a storm. This may sound frightening, and indeed, we should not underestimate how rough the weather might become. But we are not going in without some cover. First, for well over a decade, we have invested heavily in our continuing education and training infrastructure and embarked on the Skills Future movement since 2015. Second, even with low visibility, we are not navigating without compasses and searchlights. For several years now, we have developed industry transformation maps and carefully positioned each sector for future growth. Third, and perhaps most important of all, Singapore's unique brand of tripartism means that even in stormy waters, we can row as one, in unison, towards the same destination. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm not a particularly big fan of motivational quotes, but this one by a certain Vivian Green struck a chord. She says, poetically, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning how to dance in the rain.